All right, guys, gals, it's Nick McLean, owner of the Nick McLean Real Estate Group, McLean Coaching and Real Estate Greatness. And I wanted to give a shout out to Kevin Kaufman and everybody at Next Level Agents for this opportunity to present to you guys exclusively about our onboarding process, our new buyer's agent onboarding process, and overall knowledge checklist that we use to take any agent 0 hours in the industry or 20 years in the industry into productivity in a team environment in under 90 days. And productivity meaning, closing deals, getting escrows, and ultimately being successful in your organization from day one, but seeing results in form of commission checks on day 90. And Kevin was really, really awesome. We had a post. If you guys, the reason we're here is there's a post that happened in Next Level Agents. Valerie Diaz says, we have a team and I'm new to having a buyer's agent join. We have a team and I'm new to having a buyer's agent join. I would like to provide a detailed system or checklist of items for the buyer's agent to follow. And she'd really appreciate it. And so I saw this, I was actually skiing with John Sheplek and Sarah Kalki up in Revelstoke, Canada, up in BC. And they just got dumped on. They just got like 30 centimeters of snow, which is like a foot of snow, a couple days after I left. But while I was up there, I got on Next Level Agents and I saw this and I was like, listen, wow, someone wants a checklist? That's incredible. Look at on my desk right here, I have Focus Air Cargo Quick Reference Handbook. In my previous life, here's a checklist right here how to start a 747 engine. On my desk, my previous life, I was an airline pilot. I flew Boeing 747s, commercial cargo, international freight around the world. And so it's all about systems and checklists. And I thought, oh, wow, Valerie has this question. So I posted, hey, I have 22 buyer's agents on my team, and I've onboarded, probably 100 over the last decade. And I have this exact checklist. If you'd like the checklist, if anyone else would like the checklist, just drop your email. And next thing I know, up in Revelstoke, this presentation is going to be we're going to make it 30 minutes. Next thing I know, I got 600 people asking for this checklist. So that's why we're doing the webinar, because a checklist is just a checklist. You really need to train on it. You really need to know how to utilize the checklist and implement it to actually make a difference in your organization. And a checklist is not a to-do list. A checklist needs to come alive when people use it. It needs to be a living, breathing thing that causes people in your organization to interact with one another, that cause them to take action in the right steps, in the right order. And the more action they take, the more bombardment happens, the more connectivity will happen throughout your organization. And when you bring a buyer's agent on board, it took a lot of effort to get this buyer on board, this agent to join your team. You need to be prepared. You need to set the foundation up so that when they show up, they have the confidence that you have a plan for them and they're at the right place. Let me say that again. When they show up from day one, from moment one, they need to know that you have a plan for them and they're at the right spot, because they're wondering, they're scared. They're wondering, am I at the right spot? Did I make the right decision? And a rock solid onboarding process will do just that. Plus, it will alleviate the time it takes to get people into productivity on your team, the massive drag it takes on team leaders like myself, like you, that will actually have to do the training, because when you're starting a team or even a mid-sized team or a large team, someone has to do the training. Someone has to do the onboarding, right? For them to fit in, because we all want to fit in on a team. That's why we join. And the people that are on your team, they're looking at them and watching them to see if they're going to follow the process, if they're going to fit in. And so you need to put them in a position to fit in. And so I'm going to share my screen here and just dive right into it, because I want this to be 30 minutes on this onboarding checklist. If you don't have the checklist, we're going to email it to you right after this. We're going to email you the checklist. In fact, I'm going to give you a bonus checklist, which is our onboarding checklist. I have the knowledge checklist that are emailed out, and the onboarding checklist, which my operations staff goes over. I'm going to give that to everybody on this webinar for joining us today. And Next Level Agents is having a event coming up, and I wanted you guys to. Kevin asked me to ask you to go on Next Level Agents and find out about when that conference is. These are amazing conferences, mass amounts of information and knowledge to grow your business to the next level. So go to Next Level Agents and find out when that is. Get your tickets, book your flights, and we'll see you there. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. And we're going to dive into the checklist. So we use Gmail at our organization, and I have 22 buyers agents and 6 listing partners. We do about 400 homes a year, $120 million in volume in a marketplace of 33,000 people. The 120 million marketplace of 33,000 people. And so we have this is the Next Level Agent onboarding and knowledge checklist that you guys should have. Now this checklist, this is awesome because this is everything an agent should know, the knowledge they should have to be highly productive, to be professional, to be an advisor, to be an expert, to fit in our organization. And it's something that they can work towards, right? So the onboarding checklist that we have, so we have an onboarding procedure here that I'm going to go over. The knowledge checklist is something that's ongoing towards mastery. So from day one, I sit down with an agent, and they could be new, they could be experienced in the industry. And I know for a fact that new agents and experienced agents make the same amount of mistakes. They just do it for different reasons. And when they join our organization, they come in, I hire people with a growth mindset, a beginner's mindset. And so I've already laid the foundation that they need to be open-minded no matter their experience level, no matter their past, and that they need to be working towards growth and learning. So the knowledge checklist is built on that foundation. And it's something when they don't have anything going on, right? They don't have prospecting or they don't know what to do next, they can go to this knowledge checklist and start working towards mastery, building their knowledge. And part of the knowledge checklist is to search on your own, to discover on your own, or ask team members how to do it, not the team leader. This knowledge checklist is not a got a minute, got a second, a real quick question for team members. This is something that they work on ongoing. So you see the difference there? This is not a checklist for them to work with the team leader, dragging them down on training. This is something that they work towards. So if I have someone in my team organization that they look a little lost, they don't know what they should be doing, I'll have them break out this checklist and have them choose 1 or 2 things to learn this week, commit to learning this week, and also to ask a team member to show them how to do that. Because what I realized early in my team's progression is that if I was the one teaching, I was the one learning. Early in my career, when I was the one teaching, I was the one doing most of the learning. And so it was counterintuitive. It should have been the people listening should be the one learning, but really it was me, because to teach it is to know it. So if you're going to increase the knowledge and IQ of your organization, I needed to find a way to get the team members to teach it so that they truly understand and truly know it. And that's where it implemented. That's where this knowledge checklist really takes off. So, it does have some basic onboarding things. So from day one, you jump in here, it's laid out. They use Gmail, their username, their password, their email signature set up. They can get into their CRM. They know the CRM apps. Okay, hold on. I see your desktop. We're supposed to be seeing a checklist. Okay, here we go. So let's see here. Let me see this screen share. I'll be able to fix that for you guys. I'm going to fix the share, guys, and make sure you guys can see that checklist. Oh, here we go. Here we go. You guys see it okay now? Give me a question. So, awesome. Awesome. Yes, thank you. Perfect. Okay, so the principle there, if you guys could hear that principle, is the knowledge checklist is so it allows, it enables, it empowers your team to go seek knowledge and to teach it. And so by a new person in the organization getting this checklist, they're going to start having to ask other people in the organization how to do things, which allows them to be leaders. Because that was like a huge downfall for my team for the longest time, is I was the only leader on the team. And you know, you read all these books about layering and leadership, and you can give titles all day long, but a title is just a title. You need to really, they need to show that they're a leader. They need to lead by example. And so this does that for them. So they get their Gmail, they get set up on their CRM from day one. They got the app, they download the app for the CRM. I mean, they need to be super confident. This is the team, the brokerage, the organization from day one, above and beyond anyone else. At the end of their onboarding, their first day on the job, they should be telling everyone this is the best organization they've ever worked for. You need to wow them on day one, day two, week one, week two, week three. You need to wow them. And that's by doing things, you know, with excellence. And how do you be excellent? You stop doing things that aren't excellent. So here we go. The website, their company website, we use Boomtown. So you're going to learn a lot about our team here. Boomtown, they get their subdomain. Now the library, we actually have a library of information, training that they can go into, and I'll show it to you guys. You guys can see that. So we have a protected back end where we have scripts, procedures, checklists, agreements for the listing side, buyer scripts, seller scripts. And I also have videos as well. So video trainings that I've recorded that someone new in the organization or in the organization can go to and watch. Company handbook, core values, broker's logs, and so forth. So that's the library section that they have access to on day one. I want them to watch all the videos. Number two within the library, I want them to memorize the core values. So we'll actually have them memorize the core values and the next day have to verbatim either do it to the team. I've had them do it in the team meeting in front of everybody or in private with myself, become familiar with the scripts. We review the checklist. The checklists that I have on the agreements are how we want agreements to be written. And then they do the CRM trainings. So log in, take the 1, 2, 3 trainings. You know, you guys need to think about your organization, every layer of knowledge that you want someone to have. And this is going to be like drinking from a fire hose, but you're also going to want to let them know that we're going to do this in bite-sized chunks, one at a time. Contract training. Schedule contract training with the managing broker. See, this is where I started layering in items for them to go out and seek the training. So they need to talk to the managing broker or somebody about contract training. Who can you delegate to alleviate the duties from yourself as a team leader? Now, if you have a smaller team, you're going to be doing all these items. And then over the course of your growth and your evolution, you can start delegating these and taking them off your plate. So they're going to need to get to the managing broker. See, on the other side, on the operations side, on the onboarding side, my managing broker knows that the new agent's going to have to seek them out within the first 2 weeks to get contract training. So if they don't have contract training after the first 2 weeks, then we're going to reach out to them. So there's a control that would be called a control within checklist that they'll go out there and do that. And I don't get into contracts right away. You can see it's 2 weeks because the first thing is they need to learn the organization and the values and the core values, the culture. They need to fit in. They need to get to know people. They need to start learning about our CRM and our lead sources and how to prospect and the scripts we use. before I want them to worry about contracts. Because frankly, a new agent is not going to write a contract in the first 2 weeks, and I don't want them worried about it. So at the end of the contract training, I have report back to the team leader. A checklist is not a to-do list. It should interact with the organization. It should come to life as it's being used. So you know when your checklists aren't being used, when they're not, things aren't happening. So I don't need to watch them do the checklist. I just need to wait for them to report back to me that they're done with their training. So if I haven't received a report that they finished their contract training, I know they haven't even made it this far in the checklist. You understand that logic there? And so if I know that in the first 2 weeks they haven't even made it that far, I need to check in with them. And I have been checking in with them, but I know they haven't made it much further than that. They need to sign up for the NAR and the MLS systems. And then, what apps do they download? What training should they do on the MLS? These are things that you should have in there, right? Sign up for this class, take these 2 classes online. This knowledge checklist came about after years of training agents and them coming to me with a question on what should I do next? What apps are people using? It was really like a best practices of my team members. So, one day I wrote it all out, and then I gave this checklist out, and then I just keep adding to it or eliminating from it. Schedule your headshots. They need headshots. We have standards, right? And you have standards. You need to have the standards in your knowledge checklist and your onboarding checklist. One standard I have is I don't want everyone to shoot their own headshot. I want headshots to be standardized and consistent with a high quality. So I have our staff schedule that. Record a voicemail. We have down to that detail that I want them to record an effective voicemail. And in the library, I have a video that I shot on how to record a voicemail. I mean, that's the level of detail. They need to know. You need to spoon feed them. You need to take them step by step through this checklist. I used to think that, as an independent contractor, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, which our agents are in most states, independent contractors, they should know better. They should be like me. They should be seeking this out on their own or coming up with their own systems. And the truth is, the reason they're joining your organization or you as a leader or your team is because they want your systems. They want to be told what to do. Not top down, they want to be shown what to do, would probably be a better language pattern for that. Report the completion of the voicemail to your team leader, because then we'll actually listen to it to make sure that it meets our standards. Profiles are huge. The profile in your CRM, the profile on Zillow, the profile on social media sites. I've had agents join the company, and in a month, in 2 months, I noticed that their old brokerage is still showing on their Facebook page or their LinkedIn page or their Twitter profile, right? And so, they transition to your office, and then you might get mad at them for doing that. Well, here's the thing, is we need to set this up from day one, and it's a clean slate. It's an indoctrination. In the airline industry, we called it ab initio, which is from the beginning. So this is really from the very beginning, from day one. Social media sites, LinkedIn, Facebook. Now, at this point, this is all like kind of day one, week 1, week 2. Required knowledge is, as I move forward through this checklist, are items that I believe an agent should know. Download GroupMe. GroupMe is an app that we use to communicate with each other. Aside from a private Facebook group, GroupMe is something that we can instantaneously get to everyone in the organization about new listings, price reduced listings, changes, motivational, inspirational, procedural information that I can, acknowledgement, celebration, I can throw that on GroupMe, and anyone else can too. You need like a community or an app like GroupMe where a team member can have a question that can be answered by another team member that you can monitor to make sure that that's right. And I love it. So it might be a Saturday and a team member will have a question about how do I write a contract on a multifamily home? What forms do I use? And then I'll wait. I'll just kind of wait on that and see what happens. And a team member will have the answer. And then I just make sure that answer is correct, or I make some tweaks to it. What I used to do early in my career is I would jump on right away and answer the question because I know the answer, and it feels good to be right. But as you start learning that, you want the collective of the group to do this because if they teach it, they'll know it. And then they know where to go next. All marketing must include the firm's name. That's a procedure we have. I want them to go on a broker's tour. I then want them to get 5 Zillow reviews right out of the gate. Let's go get reviews. And this is probably week 1, week 2, 5 Zillow reviews. A video introduction in our private Facebook group. You know, they're going to want to fit in, and they're also going to want to break the fear of doing video. They're going to want to overcome that because that's the standard we have. Now, here's the cool part. I'm going to have them start scheduling on their own trainings with different departments. So they'll do 1 hour of prospecting with our inside sales team. They'll do 1 hour of CRM training with our sales manager. They'll schedule a tour of the title and escrow company that we use most often. So your team, your organization is within, but you also have team members out externally in your business. And so you want to get them in there. Have them meet with your preferred lender. And so my preferred lender knows that when I bring on a new agent, and they know, I let them know when I get a new agent so that they know that that agent's going to schedule a meeting with them. Our title and escrow companies that we use know when I get a new agent, I let them know, and that triggers them to know that they're going to get a schedule. And I want that tour to be awesome, right? In our area, I don't think anyone else does tours of escrows and title companies. But I recently brought on a new agent, and he went to the title and escrow company and got a tour, a 2-hour tour. So he saw the escrow, he saw the back end of the title, how they do title searches, how they do everything. He's new to the industry. He said that was the most informative moment of his first 2 weeks. You know, I think what I'm teaching about sales and everything else is the most informative, but he said that was the most informative. Schedule a meeting with the transaction coordinator, schedule with the managing broker, schedule with property management, because we have a property management division at our company. Schedule a meeting with the listing coordinator, because this is for buyer's agents. This is a knowledge checklist for buyer's agents. I want them to meet with the listing coordinator to understand how that works. So if a buyer is working with a buyer that has to sell their home, I want them to understand how that's going to affect their client and how that procedure looks. Reminder that we do team meetings Monday through Thursday at 9 a.m. I want to remind them that they have 6 hours of prospecting every week. I want them to review the buyer script and the buyer's advantage program. And we do that ongoing during these meetings. Role play. We role play. I want them to role play 10 times. Master Google Calendar invitation process. This just comes from, agents, team members not using their calendar. And I want to set the tone from day one. We calendar everything. It's like, show me your friends, show me your future, show me your calendar. I'll tell you your income. I'll show you your income, right? So I want them to understand that the calendar and the invitation process is something that is a tool that's underutilized in our industry and at most teams. So master Google Drives, how to schedule showings, all of the websites that are important. We have one thing that you guys might want to see that's kind of cool is we have a reporting site that we can report appointments and everything else. So put a bunch of websites that they need a bookmark. Sales knowledge. Now, this is the title where I want them to understand all of the areas of sales that they should be pursuing mastery. So these are just different procedures and checklists that we have. So know the steps of the sales process. Understand the information sheets, the intake sheets, the yellow sheet, the green sheet. Know Nick's top 7 questions that must be asked to every seller. So anytime you talk to a new homeowner, what are the 7 questions? And I will make sure that every team member knows this. You know, you should be able to go to your organization, and we're not perfect. So I want you guys to understand this. This is the bar. This is the standard. And we're working towards that standard each and every day. And so, you know, my goal is to have it. I walk up to anyone in my organization, from transaction coordinator to ISA to buyer's agent, listing agent. I want them to know the top 7 questions to ask that we ask every seller, every homeowner, right? You got to have standardized language and mantras in your organization, right? So if someone on my team is asked, you know, how's the market doing? They will respond, we're selling homes, right? We're selling homes. So there's just these mantras and standardized language that really take teams, that they took my team from 100 sales to 200 sales to 300 sales to 400 sales. You know, I want them to write out you will then write out the compelling offer on paper. Know the buyer presentation folder, know how to build your own, right? As an airline pilot, we had the 747 had manuals that were, if you were to stack the manuals in the aircraft, they would probably be 9 feet tall, right? Of regular paper. And that's a massive amount of information. You could almost build an aircraft with the 747 with that much information. And here's the theory. The theory is, we don't want you, the pilot, to know everything in those manuals. But we want the pilot to know where to find the information within the manuals. So also, you need to know all of the different departments. So build your buyer presentation folder. That's actually something that our operations staff does. But we also want, what do they do when it's a Saturday or Sunday or late afternoon on Monday? We have these folders already printed out in our organization. Know how to present a buyer's agency agreement. Know the closing techniques on showings. Know how to write an agreement with a fee differential. Know how to build a listing folder, even though you're a buyer's agent. Utilize your weekly success tracker. Firm knowledge of lead follow-up and procedures. Log and record new appointments. So we have an actual Google form where people log their appointments. I wish I could have time to show you that today. Get 5 Google reviews. So I started with Zillow, and now I'm layering on Google reviews and Facebook reviews. Create your ideal weekly schedule. Set ideal appointment blocks. Develop an unstoppable mindset. Start studying sales and human behavior, like an art and a science. And I give a couple books, like read Influence and Persuasion, right? Those are 2 like books that probably will stand the test of time as long as there's sales out there. Know and master how to control the conversation, memorize LP Mama, know the listing presentation, know all of our marketing and media sources, right? Know our radio and television endorsements and the ads we're playing. And if you're not doing radio and television, don't overlook this step on this training today. Think about your buyer's specialist, your buyer's agent should know what type of ads you're running on Google, on pay-per-click, on social media, on all these different sources, so that they know, you know, you need to meet your consumer where they're at, you know, message to market match. So they need to meet their consumer where they're on. How did they get to the website? They should kind of know this stuff, right? Send 10 video text messages to leads. Just overcoming video, you know, layering the stuff into your checklist and your onboarding to overcome video and start doing video from right out of the gate. So you get an agent that has 5 years experience. They've never done one video. Day 1, week 1, week 2 in your organization, you're having them do videos. And they know that everyone in the organization had to go through this checklist. So they want to fit in. So they're going to do videos. Once 30 leads in your management system, you can try, you know, this is something I threw in there just to do more videos. Trial bomb and send 100 video emails. Memorize our promise script. know the buyer promise document and how to present. Memorize 4, know the top 10 classic closes that work and their variations. I actually have 100 variations of the 10 classic closings that we go over. Know how to refer a seller to a listing department, know how to recruit a listing partner to the process, know the handoff procedures, call and email all sphere of influence, center of influence, and then contracts. All of the areas within a contract, and this isn't all of them. I take that back. This is probably the 20% that you do 80% of the time on contracts. I'm not going to go into there, but shadow people on offers. Go over there. Know all your lending options. Research and resources. Know how to search public records. Know how to go to the assessor page. Know how to order preliminary title. Know how to give property profiles, right? It's back to that pilot. There's a huge amount of information in this checklist. And if I were to take this checklist and then show you the associated document, you can see that's a lot of information. So think about this. This is a 12-page document, I believe, and each one has an associated document to it that you need to teach and train your agent. Part of the knowledge checklist is for them to know that it's there so that when they get into the situation, they know how to find it. Because if you teach your agent all of this stuff in the first 2 weeks, statistically, they probably will only remember 5-10% of it, right? Until they have to know it. And then they're going to come to you again in a month, in 6 months, in a year and say, I remember you telling me about something or teaching me something. Can you teach it to me again? And that's when I want you to go, well, do you know where to find it, right? Do you know who to ask? And that's them seeking that knowledge. Now, there's some cool stuff towards the end that I really want you guys to think about implementing in your team is I want them to increase the goodwill and reputation of the company and the organization. I want them, and they know this, to increase the goodwill and reputation of the company. How would they do that? They can do that by meeting more people. They can do that by supporting other organizations, businesses that are ancillary to ours. So I want them to go out there and I want them to know septic inspectors, know well providers. See, I'm rural. So if you guys don't have wells and septics, man, good for you guys. That's awesome. But we're rural, 33,000 people. We got septics, we got wells all over the place. So I want them to go out there and meet these providers. And because I can't have a relationship with all of them, well, I probably could, but if I have an organization, I can have an organization that has relationships with all of these people. Know water quality tests and wells. Visit the planning department, visit the building department, know the zones and the codes, know how to complete a CMA. Meet 3 real estate attorneys. Go out there and meet 3 real estate attorneys. And yeah, they might be the attorney we already work with, but I want them to seek other ones that they can work with on the team. So we want our team members not to be 100% dependent on our leads. We want them to establish your relationships. Early in my team's progression, you think that you have to give them everything for them to stay. It's not the case. You need to empower them to go out there and meet people as well. Land contacts, shoreline construction, roofing contractors, general contractors, new home builders. As a team, would it be beneficial to you if every one of your team members met more home builders? Would that make a difference? You get a new agent and they don't know any better, and they go out and meet 3 new home builders and find out that about their projects. They can report back to you the projects. And maybe that's a home builder you might want to reach out to as a listing partner or your listing department, right? So go out there and meet people. Add that into part of the requirements of your team. I have some other PUD credits and tax formulas, office procedures they need to know about. And I want to dive deep into this. And this should probably be higher up on the list, is things to know. They need to know how to make the coffee. They need to know where the office supplies are. They need to connect to Wi-Fi. the printer, the TV monitor, how to change music, how to change the garbage out, where to take the garbage to. You know, the story I tell at our organization is the Southwest Airlines story. And, you know, Southwest was profitable for, I think they've been profitable every single year of their existence. And they were profitable during the darkest times after, some of the darkest times in the airline industry after September 11th. Oil prices were through the roof. People were scared of flying, and they still made money. And how did they make money? They made money because people were willing to do anything. Nothing was below or above them. Well, some things are above them. They can't fly. But if the goal was to get the aircraft off on time, and the bags were not on the plane yet, and the captain, the ultimate authority, right? The ultimate authority, the captain had time. The captain would go help put bags on the plane. There's other airline industries with unions. You can say because of the unions, but I don't think it's because of the unions. It's just because of the culture that captain, no way, no how, right? The ultimate, they say the captain, and once the airplane is pushed back, is the CEO of the aircraft, of the company, would never put a bag on the plane. They already paid their dues. They don't do things like that. While Southwest Airlines, they did, and they were profitable. And because they were profitable, they didn't lay anyone off. In fact, they were hiring people during the darkest times. So that's an organization that I aspire to be like. So I want everyone to know how to change the garbage and take out the garbage. I want them to know where the vacuum cleaner is, where the cleaning supplies are. Right? I want them to know that. Because do we have office cleaners that come to our office? Absolutely, we do. But that doesn't mean that the office can be dirty, unclean, in between those times. Because what happens is if you don't have a standard like this or a procedure like this or a checklist that includes this, you're going to ask for feedback on how to make the company better, and you're going to hear something like, have the cleaners come more often. True story. True story. I had agents ask me if we could have the cleaners come more often. Well, that just changed, you know, that was like eye-opening. How about I have a procedure and a standard and a checklist that says that, you know, you take out the garbage, and that's what you do because it's good for the team. Etiquette to greet all clients in a positive, professional manner, how to lock up the building and our parking spots. So this checklist is all yours. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want you guys to take it and make it your own. This is very specific to the Nick McLean Real Estate Group. But I want you guys to start working on a knowledge checklist. If you have any questions about some of the items in here, the top 7 questions that I ask a listing agent, the library, and things like that. And in fact, someone wanted to see the library here. So this is the library that we have. And I don't know what you want to see in the library, the questions. How about we just open up the Q&A right now? So if you have the questions about the library, what do you want to see in the library, the videos, put them in the Q&A section and I'll answer your questions. Again, oh, someone's asking about our coaching. Do you take each agent? Yes. Yeah. So on one-on-one coaching or group coaching, we take them through every single procedure, checklist, but where they're at in their business. There's some checklists, there's some procedures that you don't add, right? How do I put it? You don't add like radio, how to have the very best radio ad, right? Until you're ready for radio ads. So, you know, there's a clear combination to the safe to get in, to be profitable. We run a very profitable business. So yeah, coaching includes all the procedures, all the training, and we're not trying to sell from this webinar at all. But if you want information, how about this? If you want information on coaching, go to McLeanCoaching.com, McLeanCoaching.com, and you can sign up for like a free discovery call. Go there, and I'll help you guys out. I'm a resource for you guys. I want to be here for next level agents today. Let's see here. Please go over the Ford script again. Ford scripts: family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. We use it for follow-up. Daily alignment checklist. Daily alignment checklist is the checklist that I have for my team so they know what to do every day as soon as they show up. It's that ritual, that habit. So as soon as you show up, what do you want your agents to do? Do you want them to look at email first? Do you want them to go to Facebook first? Do you want them to check in with you first? Right? That's what the daily alignment checklist is. I can tell you for our organization, it's check the MLS, check your to-do list, and things like that. Can you open yours, for example? Oh, and the checklist. Yeah, I can show open the checklist. Daily alignment checklist. And these are all Google Docs, and we help you with it. Do you have a resource available to purchase? Yeah, absolutely. Just you guys go to McLeanCoaching.com. I'll help you guys out and sign up. Daily alignment checklist. So begin this quick checklist at the beginning of the day. So as soon as they show up, right? And this is before meetings. Before meetings, right? Because you'll have a meeting or training, and as soon as that meeting or training is done, out the door. They're out the door, right? So finish these things. It should only take 15 minutes. We have a weekly success tracker or daily tracker, so fill that out. Get your notepad ready. Write down your 6 top items that you need to accomplish today. Then prioritize those options to the top 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, right? So write down 6, prioritize them, pick number 1. That's what you're accomplishing today. Go into your hot sheet and monitor the marketplace. I need my agents knowing the marketplace before they show up. Done. End of checklist. Daily alignment checklist. Checklists don't need to be complicated. They don't need to be. This is the most crazy long checklist you'll ever see in my organization. Everything after that is not long. In fact, a checklist should be short, sweet. It should allow people to interact within your company. It should increase the knowledge, and it should do all that. Any other questions you guys have? If you guys don't have any more questions, we recorded this. We're going to share it with you. We can get you the onboarding checklist, the knowledge checklist if you don't have it. We'll send that out to you guys again. I want to thank Kevin Kaufman and Next Level Agents. Go to Next Level Agents. They have a conference coming up. They have conferences all the time. They're always adding value. Go into the group, check it out, sign up. You'll be glad you did. And I really appreciate everything. I really appreciate everyone on the webinar. And go out there, grow a team, grow an organization. If you're on an organization and team, help grow that team. Help your team leaders. Show them this checklist. Incorporate it, implement it, and just be great, guys. All right, go out there and grow this year. Take care.